that we are good to start. Okay. All right. Before sharing my screen, hello guys. I'll be your guide for Docker and Kubernetes here. We'll be learning all the parts that are required for Docker, Kubernetes, and all the good practices that we do in our companies. Okay. And yeah, apart from that, about just my about very short introduction about me. Like I have 7+ year of experience into as a DevOps engineer. I'm a certified Kubernetes administrator. Okay, and I've been working in an IT firm. Okay, I'll be very short about myself. Just to know about you guys, I just want to know. I can see the names, but I would like to know from you is your name and what you're doing. Like, are you working? If you're working, then in which profile? If you're not working, then you're an aspiring DevOps candidate. Just say 3 lines about yourself, because that gives me a background, like on what exactly your background is and things.
Yeah, good morning, Sachit. This is Sobers D'Souza here.
Yes.
So you can hear me, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the whole idea of joining today's demo for Docker and Kubernetes is that we are migrating from non-containerized .NET projects to containerized .NET projects
Mhm.
like Kubernetes and Docker. So I want to understand how this technology works and how it will help me to migrate the current non-containerized apps to containerized app. That is the whole idea of joining today's demo session. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I'm working as a DevOps and release manager, and
Okay.
I'm almost having almost like 18 plus years of IT experience here. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
thanks. Yeah.
Yep. Anybody wants to go next? The first on my screen is Afzal. Hello, you would like to go next? Or Raj or Salahuddin? Okay, I think they don't want to. No, no worries. All right. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so before I start my curriculum, yeah. So I'll tell you, like, firstly, we cannot directly go on Kubernetes and Docker. We need to know how things work, right? As Sober also informed that he is also moving from the normal traditional or legacy applications to the applications which can be used in Kubernetes. The correct word for that was from monolithic to microservice, right? So they are moving from monolithic to microservice applications. So before moving to microservice application, also I would like to know, like, which language is comfortable for you guys. Is it English, is it Hindi, or a mixture of Hindi English should work for you? So also I would like to know that. If you don't want to speak up, you can put that in the chat box. That will also be fine for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. For me, I am comfortable with both English and Hindi.
yeah.
I don't know about others. Yeah.
Yeah, Abzal is also mixed. Raj, you can also put down your message. So there are many examples I'll be giving.
So,
Yeah, my teaching
can you?
pattern. So, yes, Raj.
Uh, I'm uh, I'm comfortable with English.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you also might be knowing Hindi, right? You can understand Hindi or not, Raj?
It's it's better to be we can converse in English, right?
Perfect. 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 All right. So see, what I do usually is my way of teaching or guiding is usually. I think Salahuddin, your microphone driver is not working. That's why it's giving a cross symbol for you. So you need to basically restart your laptop maybe, or just refresh your driver. Okay. Um, okay. So about teaching, how I give daily life examples. Okay, that's how it becomes easy to understand things. That's how I work on. Okay, let's start maybe. So firstly, before starting Docker, it is very important to know why Docker, right? Why Docker, why Kubernetes, why it is having so much of the boom in the market, right? You go for any DevOps engineer, any company which is hiring DevOps engineer needs Kubernetes engineer. Now there's a new profile also called Kubernetes admin. So it is so heavily dependent. because everything works on Kubernetes now. Everybody want to go on Kubernetes. Everything works on Kubernetes. So firstly, before starting Docker and Kubernetes directly, we need to know a basic theory part, right? Basic theory part. I'll share my screen. I'll take you to some document, excuse me, some documents, and then it would be perfect to understand. Okay, share screen, entire screen. Okay, monolithic services. Okay, let me know once my screen is visible to all.
Yeah, yeah, we can. I can see at least. I can see the screen. Yeah.
Okay, so firstly, as I said, I'll not be writing notes for you for sure. We'll be taking the help from Google, from different websites, and even I'll share these links with you guys, so that whenever you want to refer, it will be better for you to refer. Okay, this is the first link that I've shared with you on the chat box. You can copy it and keep it with you. So, firstly, before going to Docker and Kubernetes, we need to know what is monolithic at microservice architecture. Okay, so what is monolithic applications? So, initially, what used to happen before containerization, your developer used to develop codes. Okay, and in any website, okay, let's take an example of perhaps Amazon website. Okay, www dot what is the website is www.amazon.com. Now in this amazon.com, when you open, you go on the website. I'll open the tab. I need to share again, actually multiple screens, it is not giving option for me to share at once. I don't know why, so I have to actually open one tab and share with you. Okay, you're able to see the Amazon website now. Okay, so in this, when you go, you see this website. Okay, so consider this is a one website. Okay, it is a monolithic application, but every website has different modules in it, right? So different module can be, let's take an example. See, I'm just giving you an example so that it will be easy to understand for you. Okay, so in development language, we will say modules, but in a general language, a normal user language, they are using it as an categories. Okay, so for an example, let's say electronics. Okay, I open electronics, I get these options. So into electronics we have these options, so into electronics module we have all these options. Okay, so now this can be a microservice. So first we landed on amazon.com, which was let's say front end, and from there we went to electronics. Now electronics is a microservice, let's say for an example. Okay, I'm into amazon.com. What will happen is, if it is a monolithic, all these modules like electronics, computer, smart home, art and craft, every tab here would be a diff every tab would be is must be bundled as a single code. Okay, as a single code, it will be as a whole. Okay, that's how a monolithic application are built. So every code there will, for an example, there would be a code of say 40,000 lines or 45,000 lines, 50,000 lines, and they are working on it. Okay, it's not easy to maintain that 40,000 lines of code. So that's how it is being built. So everything will be one. All the modules in the website will be bundled in a single code. Okay. If they want to introduce a new module in the bundle, they will introduce in the same code. For an example, new bundle comes in with the code of 5,000 lines. It will be added to that 50,000 line, and then it will be 55,000 lines of code. Okay. This is how monolithic application was. Okay. So basically, whole of the application was bundled into one code and then deployed. Now once deployed and made available to you, so what all were the disadvantage into that? For an example, the website is deployed, it is up and running very nicely. What is going to happen after that? Some user will come here on electronics, for say they'll tap on electronics, they'll tap here, and they'll get the web page for that electronics part. But what is the disadvantage of having this? For an example, anything goes wrong with any of the one module here, any one module here. Okay, any one module goes wrong and it is showing some errors. In monolithic application, if the code is bundled into one part, it is going to give you errors, right? It is going to give you error, and there are high chances that whole of the application goes down, right? So whole of the application goes down, so there are chances your application wholly goes down due to one of the module. Other module doesn't have any issue, but still they are down because of one module. So what we understand from here is, basically, they have interdependability, and due to that interdependability, there are high chances that the application can go down. Okay, this is one of the disadvantage of monolithic application. I'll not explain you what microservices will do. First, we'll complete the monolithic part. So firstly, interdependability, they are tightly coupled in a single code. That's why the issue is. Secondly, we see that there are multiple offers going on always on this website. Flash sale, big Diwali, big New Year, right? So they drop down their prices, and there is high traffic during that time. And during that traffic, what happens? During that traffic, what happens? They get more number of user requests coming in. So what happens when more number of user requests coming in? It is going to trip, or it is going to increase different, what we would say is different parameters. Okay, different parameters or different matrix of your server. So it is going to trigger maybe your CPU utilization, maybe your RAM, maybe your network, maybe your heap memory, or XYZ. There are n number of parameters into a server, right? It is going to trigger. So for flash sale going for electronics, and then it is going to trigger your application. And what things will happen if it triggers? So definitely the application is into auto scaling. So it is going to auto scale the application. Now auto scale means it is not going to vertically auto scale, it is going to horizontally auto scale. I'll just shortly explain you what is horizontal and vertical auto scaling. I expect that you already know that because you're already onto Kubernetes, but I'll just give one liner. So horizontal scaling means when 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 a server increases. For an example, you have four servers, and now they are five or six. So that is horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling, what does it mean? By vertical scaling, we mean is it is going to increase its resources, that is memory and CPU. So you have 8 GB of memory and 2 GB of sorry, two CPUs. Okay, and if they are going to increase, then that is called as vertical scaling. Then that is called vertical scaling. That is what horizontal and vertical scaling means. So definitely in this case, what is going to happen? In this case, it is going to horizontally scale. The reason behind that is simple. If it is going to vertically scale, then it has to have a downtime, and downtime doesn't make any sense. So that's why it is going to horizontally scale. But the disadvantage of horizontal scaling is, let's say that your application is going to have, for example, 16 GB of RAM and 8 CPU. Okay, I'm talking on a very lesser end. It is just an example. Okay, so 8 CPU and 16 GB of RAM, it is going to increase. It is going to have one more server of the same configuration. And remember, your whole application is not into flash cell, only electronics is into flash cell. So only for one module, you have to create the replica of your server, which will be of the total application. And electronics is, though it is increasing, but the application is becoming heavy, right? Because whole of the application is getting multiplied. So it doesn't make any sense again, right? It doesn't make any sense again. So in this case, it has a disadvantage wherein the whole module gets multiplied, and the whole server gets multiplied only because of the module. Yeah, somebody was saying something.
Yeah, actually, one thing I want to actually, I always get confused between horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. So, horizontal scaling, I know something like we add more pods or something, and vertical
Don't go.
scaling is
Sober,
that you're saying.
sober. Don't go into Kubernetes now. So the
Uh,
example for vertical scaling and horizontal scaling, as you mentioned, that we
uh-huh,
scale the pods is correct, but we are not
uh,
speaking with respect to containerization as of now.
Okay, okay. No, yeah, okay. Let's take term in very layman words. So
Okay.
what I'm saying, when it is horizontal scaling, is it that we are putting, like, for take example of say memory and CPU. So when
Right.
you are telling horizontal scaling, is it that what we are doing? And in vertical, you said we are adding more resources like memory or CPU. And
Right.
what about the horizontal scaling? I mean, that I'm not
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah. So for an example, your application is having two servers, right? Or say
Okay.
just say two EC2 instances.
Uh-huh.
So what will happen is when your horizontal, do you know auto scaling of AWS?
Yeah, auto scaling is automatically when the incoming
Automatically. No, 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 no.
automatically it allocates more memory in CPU as the
No,
incoming the
no, no,
workload
no,
increases, right?
no. So was see
Uh,
in EC2 service of AWS, if you
uh,
see auto scaling, so what it does is whenever your parameter, whatever parameter you have set, for an example, CPU, if it goes above 70%, let's say, then
mhm.
it adds up more server. It doesn't add up the CPU and memory.
Okay. So
So
you hmm.
whenever a new server is added, it is called as horizontal scaling.
Okay. New server is adding is called horizontal scaling. So you are
Exactly.
saying there is a threshold level that is kept. Is it 70% and above if it goes, then automatically the auto scaling happens.
That depends on you what you want to keep the threshold value. So
That
I
means
was
it is
giving you an
that is
example
it is
about,
mandatory to keep the this right threshold level has to be there. It may be 50%, 60%,
exactly.
70. Huh?
Yes, exactly, that's how it is going to decide at what point
Decide,
it has to add.
because that factor it needs to have some factor or some point, right, where you have to decide, take action that okay, at this point it is going above the threshold level, then let me put more servers or more CPU or more
Yes,
okay. Okay, so
yes,
you're saying horizontal scaling is something like putting additional or adding of more servers, is it my
yes,
understanding? Okay.
yes. Addition of more workloads or more servers or more instances.
Okay. And what about the vertical scaling?
It will be like adding the resources in the same server.
Acha, adding, so okay, so you are adding more memory and more CPU on the same server. Okay.
Yes, it
Okay.
can be adding more volume as well. It can also be termed because we can edit and modify the volumes, right?
Okay. 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 Even the data storage is also a part of the this. Okay. More
Yes,
volumes or CPU or memory. Okay. That is categorized as a vertical scaling. Okay. Got it.
yes.
Okay.
Got it?
So basically, okay. I now I understood because I used to always get confused. Though we are
Yeah, it
slowly
is
moving
confusing, yes.
towards this, but then these concepts were not clear to me. Thanks for
Yeah,
explaining.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
That's what we
Thanks.
are here for, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you told that E2C's auto scaling is the ideal example of this, right?
Yeah,
Of the
EC2, Elastic Compute Services.
yeah, of the AWS. Okay, it's
Yes.
a example of this what you call horizontal vertical horizontal auto
Auto
scaling,
scaling.
right?
Yes.
Horizontal. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thanks for explaining.
Yeah.
Sachin, thanks.
Guys, if you have any question at any point of time, just unmute yourself and ask me. Don't wait for me to complete, right? Because it will break your, I would say, break your line of understanding, right? Don't wait for me to complete. Just unmute and say, "Hey, Sajat, I have a question," right? Also don't raise your hand or react because I'm on other tabs, so I won't be getting your reaction. Okay, coming back to our topic. So the first thing that we discussed was the application will become heavy in monolithic, because any module you have the flash cell. For electronics it is increasing, and for only electronics whole of the application has to be horizontally scaled, which doesn't make any sense. And also it is going to affect your costing, right? Because let's say if, okay, that I'll explain in monolithic applications, sorry, microservices. Now, as we know that it is being horizontally scaled, which means a new server is created and the application is deployed, right? So the deployment of the application is a single unit, right? Is a single unit. So whole of the application is deployed. For an example, in your flash cell you had an issue in your code, right? You had an issue, you debugged, and then you informed your developer that, hey, this was an issue, what to do now? So he said, okay, I'll fix it. He fixed it, and you have to again deploy that. again, as your code is complete, as you have one single code for all your modules, you have to do whole of the deployment. Again, it is an unnecessary thing, right? Only you're making changes in the modules of electronics, but you have to deploy all the part again. So as I said, it is tightly coupled, so there the deployment will be in a single unit. Next point is scalability. As we were discussing that it will horizontally scale, but again, it can be complex because the application is heavy. Okay, the application is heavy, so many times it takes time to come up, right? The application is heavy, so application will be created new, it will be connected to its different, let's say it is going to connect with RDS, right, for database. But to spin up the application, to load the application, it might take time. And what if, as your flash sale is high, you your application comes up, and by that time your previous application cannot survive that load and it crashes. So that is why horizontal scaling can be dangerous here, can be dangerous. Okay, the next point we'll talk of is technologies. So the technology use can be also be limited. We cannot expand to multiple technologies at the same time, right? Because we develop one module in Java, the other in, let's say, Python, the other in let's say JavaScript, the other in .NET, then whatnot. Okay, in XYZ, if we are doing that, the tightly coupling between these modules will be difficult, right? And it cannot be again go into one code, then we have to think of different strategies, so that will be challenging. So for an example, if I have to develop this in Java, I have this now into my code that every module should be into Java for the ease of use and for the ease of operational activity. So the use of technologies is again very much limited in monolithic. Okay, only one part is easy in monolithic, and that is maintenance. Because as we said, less technologies, less number of servers would, like, it can be more number of servers, but only one type of server you are going to use it there. So majority of the things are simple. That's why majority of the components are simple, or that's why we can maintain it very easily. Only that is the advantage of having monolithic application. But microservices, definitely it is easy. I would say not easy, but on the mid level. Okay, uh, communication. If we speak of communication, all the modules are already in the same server, right? All the modules are in the same server. So what does that makes us, that what does it do is, being on the same server, the communication between every other module is very easy, right? It is already on the local host and just the port, so definitely it is very easy. And many a times even not that, because if it is deployed already on the same server in the same tool, let's say Tomcat, it is still going to be very easy, right? It is still going to be very easy. So this is only the advantage of monolithic application. Okay, here, like, these are the few points of monolithic application which are important to be considered when we are moving from monolithic to microservice, or before going to microservice architecture. Guys, do we have any questions until this? If yes, let me.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I want to ask now, you said regarding the horizontal auto scaling, it is very dangerous to add more like servers or workload. So,
Yes,
but at point of time when it is required, we need to add na, servers and all
yes,
like
yes.
workload. So why it is
Is
dangerous?
your,
Like I didn't understand
Over,
that part.
is your question like why is it dangerous?
Yeah, means you said na, it is very dangerous. You use that word, na, dangerous. So
Yes,
I want to
yes.
understand how did you relate it as a
Yes,
dangerous?
yes, yes. See, let's say you have a flash sale going on to your Amazon website for electronics. So all your traffic is on electronics now. What happens is, you said on your application that whenever your CPU utilization is 75%, you need to horizontally trigger your application. So as soon as it reaches 75, right? Flash sale
Mhm.
is on. Just remember that. So
Yeah.
75, it is going to start triggering your CPU utilization to 75, and as soon as it reaches 75, what horizontal scaling has to do? The horizontal scaling will first trigger or create the EC2 instance or a server, right? Which
Mhm.
is already baked with your application.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to take time, let's say 30-40 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
to completely come into healthy state and running state,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's say
Mm-hmm.
40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Then when your server spins up, your application can take up to 2-3 minutes or maybe more. Let's say I have seen applications taking 5 minutes to come into the running state. Speaking about application, okay, not the
Mm-hmm.
server now. So
Okay.
let's say let's speak of the worst end and also on the good end. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
good end, a good productionized application would take, let's say, 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. On the
Yeah.
worst end, let's say 5 minutes. Agreed.
Yeah.
So the now let's talk of the time. So if we speak of time, then on the good side we are using 2 minutes 40 seconds. On the worst side we are using 5 minutes 40 seconds. Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Let's speak of good side. Good timing, that is 2 minutes 40 seconds. Are there chances that your CPU triggers from 75 to 100 before this time?
Yeah. Chances are there.
Exactly. Are there chances of 5 minutes 40 seconds before the 5 minutes 40 seconds your application's CPU or any resources to trigger from 75 to 100?
Might be possibility. But it depends
Yeah,
upon the incoming traffic and the workload.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, remember you're having the flash sale. Don't forget that.
Ah, that only I'm saying. Diwali sale or whatever the sale is there, and then
Exactly.
people are buying more from the online
Exactly.
shop.
So,
Yeah.
there are chances to trigger your CPU utilization from 75 to 100%, right? You agree to that point on the good
Yeah.
time and also on the bad time.
Exactly.
What happens if 100% CPU utilization goes then?
Then the application might go down,
Exactly. No, the application will definitely go down. The server will crash.
crash, server will crash.
Right. So, for an example, let's speak of this. So, the server will crash. So, what do auto scaling will do? It will again turn up the new instance.
Hmm.
Right. Let's say it is taking again 2 minutes 40 seconds. So, you have a downtime.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, think of it. Your application is having an downtime on a flash day sale.
Mm-hmm.
So, is your management going to accept this?
No, 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 obviously not. They said we are paying you so much for
Exactly.
your engineering knowledge and all those things, so we don't want that crash. It
Exactly.
will all our customers will go away to some other
Exactly.
side.
Exactly. That's why it is. I called it as a dangerous thing. So, do you agree with my word, dangerous now?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Fine.
So
No,
that,
but okay, got it. No, but I related dangerous with adding of new server. Is it I have understood wrongly or it is?
no, it is adding of new servers is also dangerous because that is only creating the problem.
But then if we don't add any new servers, then how it will take the additional load
So
capacity?
in this case, the solution to this was when we were working on monolithic applications.
Hmm.
Uh, we were keeping the CPU utilization threshold value not to 75%. We were
Hmm.
used to keep it to 50%, 55, 60%.
Hmm.
These big applications do that. So for an example, if you go on Samsung, I have worked on multiple big projects. Like I've worked on Samsung accounts, so we used to keep the value to 60%.
Hmm. Okay.
But again, if you say now, hey, such this issue is resolved, then let's go on monolithic, right?
Hmm.
But it increases the cost, right? There are chances that from 60% it will go up to 70% only. But I've
Hmm.
added my server, right? So I'm getting cost for that.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
We need something that should be very fast.
Hmm. Right. Right. Okay. Understood. So you are saying in terms of cost, you are saying that addition of servers is dangerous or
Both,
like what?
both. Yeah, cost is one of the factor. Second is your application can go down, as I explained with the time details.
Okay. So you are saying within that time lag, we cannot add more server. You are saying that.
I see. What I'm trying to say is, firstly, the cost is the point.
Hmm.
Secondly, when we say within the time duration, there are chances that application may take time to load.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we were talking of the good time and the bad time on the both aspect.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. Okay.
Not,
Understood. Okay.
yeah,
Understood. ठीक
it
है.
can.
Thanks. 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 Yeah. You can
Okay,
continue.
all right, got it. So these were some of the points for basically a monolithic application. All right. Now let's compare it with the microservice application. right? The architectural size. Firstly, as we were discussing about the different modules of the website, so it will be a multi-tier, right? So this can be separately designed, this can be separately designed, this can be separately, every module of the architecture of the microservices can be separately designed. Okay, whereas in monolithic, no, everything should be come under one, should be coming under one umbrella. Okay, that one umbrella would be the whole single code, or a coupling of the code. It will not be decoupled. Secondly, as we are talking of the architecture and we are saying that everything can be different, then yes, also in respect to technologies. This can be developed in Java, this can be developed in Python, Golang, any .NET, any language. So the technology usage in microservice architecture can be different. Okay, can be, and also as per the requirement we can configure it. So again, that gives us an upper hand in microservices, that we don't have to depend on any of the technology. If the new technology comes in, it seems easy to be developed, to be maintained, then yes, we can go to that. Okay, we can easily go to that. Second, now why I took this point is like different architecture designing, then different technologies can be used, because all these points are related to each other, right? That's why. The next would be size. So basically, if you see about the application, earlier it was one application, and inside that one application we had different modules. But in microservices, it treats every module as a separate application, right? This will be a different microservice, this will be a different microservice, this can be a different microservice. Everything can be treated as a different microservice, right? And it is not coupled, it is not coupled with each other, very loosely coupled, right? If there is an interdependability, then yes, it is waiting for that application to come up. But again, it is waiting for that application, it is not stopped, right? It has a certain state. So that's how we can say that it is not coupled with each other, or very less coupled with each other, right? Every application, every microservice will be independent of each other. Third point, deployment. When we discussed on monolithic application, we said that it, even if one module or one part of the micro of the monolithic application has to be deployed again, we have to deploy it. We have to deploy the whole application as a single unit, right? Whole application will be deploying it. We need electronics, but still we are deploying computers, smart homes, art and crafts, right? But in microservice, if we want to increase or deploy electronics separately, we can do that. So for a flash sale, we are taking the example of flash sale. So the flash sale is happening, the flash sale is happening, you have an issue with the electronics, you fix your issue only for electronics and then deploy electronics. You don't have to worry of other components or other microservices. That's how microservice architecture works, right? So the deployment dependability is again very decoupled, right? It doesn't depend on other. Scalability, again I said, we were talking of the point that it might take time. Here it doesn't have to spin up the server, it has to only spin up the tool. So for an example, we in monolithic, it will first create the server, and after creating the server, it is going to create like spin up the tool. Here the server is already created, the nodes are already created. Once we have the nodes, it is going to basically, once we have the nodes, then it is just going to spin up the tool. So the time taken will be very less as compared to monolithic application. So there are no chances, or very less chances of crashing your application. Okay, we already discussed about the development technologies part. Okay, this is how basically the microservice architecture looks. Very on all points, it is very easy or very straightforward to work on with respect to monolithic architecture. Also, I've shared one link with you. If you want to read things in very detail, then it definitely has given you many more points there. But what all the points that I've explained you are already there. So if you read it, definitely you'll have good taste of monolithic and microservices. It has given good flavors of it. Okay. Also, one more part in monolithic application, if any issue comes in, right? So, for an example, the beauty and personal care module is having some issues, and you go and check the logs, then definitely it will be difficult to find you the specific logs for beauty and personal care, because there are multiple modules that are already there, and definitely it will be very much difficult uh, to specifically go here and specifically find out the error, because there are multiple error logs already coming from different modules, right? But in microservices, when you have different microservice for beauty and personal care specifically, then what is going to happen is you get an error state for this application. You specifically go there, you specifically see your pods and see the error there. This is how even the debugging in microservice is easy as compared to monolithic application. I think this clearly explains about the monolithic and the microservice architecture, and giving an example with amazon.com. If you guys have any questions with this, let me know. You can ask.
Yeah. So, Sachin, the one thing I want to ask is regarding this monolithic and microservices. So basically, if we are going for a containerization technology
Mm-hmm.
like Kubernetes and Docker, so we have to convert. If say I am using a monolithic application,
Mm-hmm.
right, a legacy application,
Mm-hmm.
and that means the architect of my company or my project, he
Mm-hmm.
has to design re-architect the entire thing application
Yeah,
such a way that he has to break out down the monolithic application into small microservices, right?
exactly,
Which are,
exactly.
and then only we can move ahead with this containerization technology, right? Like Docker
Right,
and Kubernetes.
right. If you're deploying your application as a one in
Uh-huh.
microservice, then why are you using microservice, right?
Exactly. So the whole base foundation is that we have to move to microservices. Otherwise, there is no other way out, right? There is no choice, right? I mean, if
No,
they
the whole way out is we have to.
uh,
If you are want to moving to microservice, go microservice way. Don't go
uh,
your way.
okay, no, no. The reason is why am I telling you, no? Because
Yeah,
where I
I'm
am working,
just giving you a
there are
suggestion. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
giving you a suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, there are almost like 12 to 15 in-house applications are there. And I once spoke with the one of the architect. He's the US guy. So I told him that, okay, Edwin, like, I want to go ahead with the microservices architecture because I want to roll out this containerization technology. So he said, so but the application you're talking about, like XYZ application, it is based on the monolithic architecture, means everything is tightly coupled. So we cannot go with the containerization technology. For that, then again, we have to redesign the entire application and then make it into microservices. And again, there's a budget cost, management has to approve, and all those things are there, and then we have to plan. So all those things are
Right.
involved. So it is not that at a button of click you will say that let's move ahead with the
Your voice is
containerization
breaking
technology.
too much.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do one thing. I'll put my headphones. 1 minute. Just a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
No, because
Afzal, yeah, Afzal,
now
the
you can
screen
hear.
is visible.
Now you can hear me
Yes, yes,
clear now.
yes.
Okay, no, what I was saying that one of the legacy application we had, na, so that was a monolithic architecture. So when I checked with my architect, so he said, I want to go ahead with the latest technology, the containerization technology. He said we cannot move because we have to redesign the entire system. Now you can hear me, right?
Yes,
So,
perfect.
so he's saying that we have to redesign the system, and there will be again we have to make a proposal to the management, and there will be a committee and all those things, and budget approval will be there because cost will be required, right? Resigning the entire thing, and how it's
Yeah,
going to impact current client, and we have to do some POC and all those things. A lot of things are involved. So he's saying it's not that easy. You're saying like just a button of click or something, it can
right,
be. So he's saying entire thing has to be. because these are the legacy application used for last 50, 15 years or above, you know.
Okay.
So you are designed maybe from VB 6.0 and SQL, and now they are migrated to .NET and all after later, but still in the non-containerized environment. So, and again in the monolithic architecture. So get it on the microservices side again. All those things has to be done. You know, redesigning has to be done. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
fine, fine. Okay, that only I wanted to make it clear. Yeah.
So yeah, these are basically some points that we have to take care of. Like we have to understand why monolithic and why microservice, and that's how it makes things very much easily understandable. Okay. After this, basically, to start any new topic, we'll be having less time. So what we can do is we can understand how basically, one second.
And Sachit, one more thing I want to ask you: have you created any PPT? Because I think you are explaining orally only, right? All those things. Any
Yeah,
PPT or any
I was just explaining you via
uh,
the website, via the Amazon.com, giving you that example.
okay,
PPT is,
okay.
if you want to read about things, I've already shared the link for that in the
No,
chat box.
no, means now you are going through it, each and every topic. That's fine. That's totally appreciated. But
Mhm.
if it was in a PPT, maybe slide one, slide two, slide three, then
No, definitely
those
that
bullet
won't
points,
be
you
there.
know. I mean,
Definitely.
just this is my suggestion.
No, it won't be there. Sorry, not
Uh,
taken, because it
uh,
wastes unnecessary time showing you the PPT.
acha,
Because
acha, okay, no problem.
once the theory part is done, everything would be practically done there. So I don't. It doesn't make any sense making the PPTs here.
No problem. That's fine. Everybody has their own way of putting. I'm just a suggestion because whenever I show to any presentation to my team or my management, I always it may be one slide PPT also, but I will show in PPT. This is my way of teaching, you know, or imparting this. Anyway, since everybody has their own way of, no problem. That's fine. Continue. Thanks.
Even in companies we do the PPTs, but not here. Definitely, well, it wastes time. It
Yeah,
wastes my time.
but
It wastes
but
your
it has been told to you for demos class, especially not to use the PPT or something
time.
from this
No,
institute. Nothing,
no,
right?
definitely no.
It's your own way of okay teaching, right? Okay,
They
okay,
definitely
okay,
they definitely say have the best possible way, and I think this is the best possible way.
okay. Okay, no, no problem. Actually, I'll leave to you. No problem. Thanks. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. One second. I'm sharing my screen back again. Actually, it's not giving me an option to share the whole window or entire screen. Okay, one second. Okay, I'll do just Google. Okay, you're able to see my Google screen. And what we need to do is on the next class, next session, whenever we are having, I think it's on Tuesday. So in that we'll be starting with Docker. Okay, there will be some theory before starting Docker, hardly 5-10 minutes. But what you all guys can do is install Docker onto your systems, right? So Docker install. I am using Mac. I don't know what systems you're using. So guys, can you tell me what systems you're using so I can give you good documentation to do that? If it is Windows or if it is Linux. I hope it would be Windows, but just confirm it once. You can put down in the chat box again. Don't go for Docker desktop, Sayed. And I think that is not a good part, because Docker desktop will not make you comfortable with the CLI commands, and it is always the best way to know the CLI commands. So don't use Docker desktop. Okay, so I assume that majority of the people will be using Windows. So in Windows, what you can do is install WSL. Okay, just open your Windows store, type in Ubuntu. You'll get Ubuntu version, different version like 18, 20, 22. You can go with version 20 because latest many times it has some issues or bugs, so it might give you some errors. So install that. I'll show you Windows WSL Ubuntu. Okay, this is the part. You just need to install it from the Microsoft Store. It is better. You can go on store. This is not store. Or if this is showing, this is also good. It is Windows subsystem basically, right? So on your Windows, you are going to install the Ubuntu, and it will not start, right? It is not going to start because it gives some error. It gives some error. So just tap in that error into this, and tap in that error into Google, and it will give you, because you have to go and change some settings into your property system properties. And if you're not able to do that, let me know on Monday. I exactly don't have the error with me, but I'll help you on that part. Okay. For Windows people, use Ubuntu. Linux is the good part to use, because in your professional life you're majorly going to use Linux, so you should know the Linux commands. So even some commands are not known, it will be easy for you to know that command, right? If you're using Mac, Docker install on Mac, it will be very much simple for Mac. Just download this according to your if it is Silicon Valley, if it is Apple Silicon or Intel chip, according to that it will download the DMG file and then install it on your CLI. Once you install it, start your Docker desktop. Okay, once you start your Docker desktop, what it will do is, from your CLI also it will start running now. If you don't start your Docker desktop, it will not start your CLI as well. uh, so do that first. My Docker is being installed, and yeah, my system is ready. So yeah, I'll these are simple documentation to do. Just install Docker. And still, if you're facing some issues on the next class when we start, just let me know that hey, we are not able to install it. Okay, Afzal, you're asking what for Ubuntu in VMware environment. Uh, Afzal, using VMware VirtualBox and then installing then downloading the whole Ubuntu image and then spinning it up again, very lengthy. If you want to do that, see, last but one version is always recommended, but I would not suggest you to use the VMware box or the VirtualBox, right? Better way, use WSL. WSL is still the best one, I would say. It takes less time. It doesn't give the load on your laptop as well. Otherwise, there are chances that VMware always stucks. Last but one version is always recommended.
So, Sachin, basically, what you're telling, in order to, I didn't get like what tool we. I understood about a Docker in Docker desktop we have to install, but to practice and all, what we are going to use, like,
Docker.
are,
We need CLI. We need Linux CLI.
okay, CLI, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
we don't require any virtualization environment, no, right
That's
now.
what. But in CLI, if you're that's what I was saying. If you're using Windows, in
Uh huh.
Windows, the CLI is CMD.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
So
using Windows only. Yeah.
yeah. So in Windows, CMD commands are difficult to understand to take up things,
Uh huh.
right? So, and what happens is when we create the image, it takes the architecture from the base system. Talk
Mm-hmm.
about this when we do Docker. So the
What?
image architecture is different, so it is
Mm-hmm.
better to use Linux.
Acha, Linux. Okay, okay, okay. Got it.
So
Miss.
you install the subsystem or the WSL,
Mm-hmm.
and onto your Windows system, or else or if you're using already Mac, then Mac itself has terminal, so you can use iTerm in Mac, or terminal in Mac.
What if I have a AWS machine and then can I connect from
Yes,
my?
you can do that, but again, see, what you can do from your laptop for that. Why are you spinning up an EC2 instance,
Uh-huh.
right? So you just need a CLI. The CLI can be available on your Windows as well. You just have to install the WSL. So every
W.
time whenever you have to practice, you don't have to spin up the instance. You just have to just go on your Windows, open your Ubuntu, and then start doing it.
Nee, WSL, I didn't understand. What is that?
That's what I was saying. That on
Oh,
your Windows system, just open or store, right? You have store there. Like on your mobile, you have Android store from where you
yeah.
download application. So in Windows
Uh-huh.
also, you can share your screen. I can guide you for Windows, and people can see.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah. Are you able to see my screen?
No,
I don't sharing option is visible for us or what is it?
I am not sure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm not able to ask organizer to make you presenter. You have to make me presenter. Actually.
Okay, one second. I'll see how we can do that. Your name is.
Sobers
Okay.
Singh.
Yeah, yeah. One second. I'm making you the presenter.
No problem because that option is disabled. Right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
see anything.
Sure. It's done now.
Okay. Now, yeah, now it is enabled. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah. Now,
Tap on
tell
Windows,
me.
but tap on Windows button
Windows. Okay.
and search for store.
It's Microsoft Store.
Yeah, yeah. Just tap
Isn't
store.
that? Okay.
Yeah, open it. Microsoft Store.
Mhm.
Search for Ubuntu there at the top. Guys, you can see this and also do for your laptops.
Ubuntu.
Yes, Afzal, this is easy as compared to VMware. Ubuntu.
Okay.
Now you see different version. My recommendation is using last but one. So last is 25. So or the latest, but one is 20.04. So your view, it's on you which you want to use.
No, you tell me what I should
Sir,
use.
hello.
Yes.
Yeah, you can
So,
use
so
your.
you mean that I have to install Ubuntu on Windows and then I will start practicing over there?
Yeah, that would be easy.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Sachin.
what about when I am doing all the things on the Ubuntu server in VMware?
That's again, Afzal. I'm speaking to Afzal, right? So Afzal,
Mhm,
that's
yeah.
again up to you. That's my suggestion. If you still want to go for VMware, up to you.
Okay, okay, okay.
You can use 20.04.
20.04. Okay.
Yeah, this is very easy thing. That's why I
Yeah,
even when
even I was not aware of this method because we used to always I
yeah,
used to always connect to a Azure machine or a AWS
uh,
console, and then I used to connect via Putty, or maybe nowadays a lot of new tools are available like MobiTerm and all those things.
yeah. Tap
And
in
yeah,
get, tap in get.
okay.
This will install it, and then once it is installed, you have to restart. I think I don't remember exactly. Yeah,
So the Ubuntu 20.04 will be installed on my machine, is it?
yeah, on your laptop. It is just say that you're installing an Google Chrome like application, so it is also an application.
Okay, so any Linux command I can type that directly.
It
It's
is
like
a
a console.
Linux. You don't say any Linux. It is a Linux system over your Windows. So what happens is
Acha.
you, your
Oh.
Windows system is having, for an example, 1 TB of hard disk and 16 GB of RAM. So it
Hmm.
takes whatever it requires. So volume will be shared within this Ubuntu, and
Hmm.
CPU and memory. It takes how much it requires, but
Okay.
not
Okay.
much as compared to VMware, because when we go on VirtualBox, we explicitly
Hmm.
has to give it volumes like 100 GB and
Hmm.
let's say 4 GB of RAM and two CPUs. We have to explicitly give that. Here we don't
Okay.
need to give that. You see the
Okay.
key
Okay.
features: efficient command line utilities including Bash,
Hmm.
SSH, Git, apt, npm, pipe, and many more.
Hmm.
So you don't have.
Understood. Got it. So basically, it is now downloading the installer file or something like that.
Sorry.
What it is doing now? It is downloading the entire thing, right?
Right.
The installer, right, for the Ubuntu
Right.
20.04.
Right. It is
Okay.
downloading and it will also install it. Okay.
Acha, is installing also at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no, after downloading, it will install. So
Okay. Okay.
Sayyid,
Yeah. That one. That
my
one.
WSL is integrated with Docker desktop, and I run a kind cluster. I guess it
Hmm.
should be fine for practice, right? Right. Sayyid, no, it will not be fine. Why? I'll tell you. See, major 90 or 95%, or I'll say 90 to 95% of the companies are using Kubernetes on cloud, right? That is either EKS, AKS, or GKE. So it has its added advantage over it, and the added advantage over it is, what it does is basically, there are certain resources. For an example, we are creating service in Kubernetes. What it does is it creates the load balancer behind it. So when you do this Docker desktop, it's fine for your work, But when you are specifically creating few services like ingress service, it won't work in your WSL. So again, it is
So
recommended.
what is the
Yeah,
plan? I mean, when you'll be doing those services, do you want us to spin up an EKS cluster in the cloud?
better, that would be it. I'll be doing that.
Hmm.
I'll be doing an EKS cluster.
Actually, there is a plugin for ingress controller for Minikube, I guess. I mean, I could look up something for kind cluster as well,
Yeah, but
which
again,
creates.
in your actual professional life, you're not going to do that, right?
Nah, 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 we
Exactly.
won't.
That's,
I mean, I mean, I'm just asking for learning
yeah.
purposes.
Definitely, there are multiple ways to do that. See, we can achieve that
Yeah,
via multiple things. But again, my approach to take you to things is there are multiple ways. See, what I can do is I can teach you all the legacy things and then bye bye. All right. But again, that is not going to help you in your professional life.
yeah.
I want you
No, no,
to. I want
Sachin,
us.
where it
I
has
want.
installed this,
Yeah,
download it, because I cannot see anything on the download.
yeah, definitely it will not be there because it is already
Oh,
installed. So tap
okay,
on
so
your
I have
Windows,
to.
tap on your Windows button and search for Ubuntu. You'll get that,
Okay,
and you can
I
pin
shall
to your
click.
taskbar. Yeah.
I shall ping it. Ping to taskbar. Okay.
Actually, actually, you could also install terminal, Windows terminal,
Is it
and
terminal is
yeah,
available in Windows?
yeah, that is how I do it. You,
Oh,
I mean, I could show you my screen if you want.
no, it's
Uh,
fine. Like terminal, but yeah,
yeah,
I prefer in Windows. I prefer Ubuntu because it gives me the whole feel of Linux. I never knew
yeah,
about terminal. Yeah, because in Mac,
I,
Mac doesn't need it. It itself is a Linux system,
yeah.
flavor of Linux. So yeah,
So
How
you
much
could
disk?
install. I mean, it'll take. See, this will take all your local resources. You don't have to specify anything. It'll just run out of the box, take storage. It'll mount your C drive.
yeah.
Yeah, that one I was thinking. I hope my C drive will not get full, huh?
No, no, it
Because
won't. It won't.
Nah,
there's
It won't.
hardly any 71 point. Actually, I should have downloaded that on some other drive, like maybe E drive, I don't know, G
No,
drive at most.
when
Uh,
you're doing it from your Windows Store, it is by default going to take it into C.
okay, okay. Acha, there is no other choice I have.
If there are, then we have to check into store settings. But as far as
Uh,
my knowledge, it doesn't.
okay, no problem. I will see other things I how can remove. Okay. What about this?
You need
New
to give
I
your
can.
username and password. Yeah.
Acha, okay.
Yeah. So
I
answering
can.
to you, Syed, whatever we do is not only learning the different API resources of Kubernetes, but also, as I said, we'll be doing the good practices, right?
hmm,
So we are deploying anything, then we just make sure that our YAML file is perfect. It should not have any extra thing. It should be properly defined. So that's how our things are going to be used. So we don't use any plugins to manipulate things. Yes, we'll be using plugins and add-ons, which will be required for the EKS cluster.
got it.
Yeah,
See,
and
I may
yes,
be jumping the gun, Sachin, but
okay.
I'm just looking at the curriculum now, and there's a mention of GitOps. So,
Yes.
I mean, any guidance towards Amazon's EKS blueprints and how Argo CD works would be greatly appreciated
You
because
definitely say it. We are going to use Argo CD for the GitOps. Don't worry.
okay,
That's what I'm
because
saying. If you're regular to this, if you're practicing to this, believe me, I'll take you to good things only. We'll make sure we do more than the curriculum we need. We'll do what we need in actual professional life.
uh,
I
because
know.
see, I am
I
actually
know.
working without knowing Kubernetes. I come from a Linux background.
I
So
know.
I picked up the abstraction. But the thing is, this whole thing is a Disneyland when it comes to blueprints and
I know.
all this being done through Argo CD and GitOps.
Yeah, yeah. We'll do that. I'll see what I'll do is firstly how my way of teaching is I'll first take the theory, and
Uh-huh.
theory will not take like first session was this monolithic microservice was important, so it takes time. But after this, when we do theory, it will be 5-10 minutes and more on the practical end. So we'll be going into the errors, then we'll resolving it by ourselves. Then that's how I take up things.
Wonderful.
Okay. So Sachit, now the entire Ubuntu has been installed on my machine, right? On my
Yes,
local
yes,
machine. Rather than
yes.
connecting on to any AWS or maybe Azure,
Yeah.
entire thing is there. Okay. So whatever Docker and Kubernetes command, like for the class, I can, installation and all those things, everything I can do it here only, right? This is my like a machine, a
Yes.
dedicated console, right?
Yes.
Okay. Instead of connected to any cloud platform, this is on the local only.
Yeah,
But
you
we
don't
have
need
to
to do that. Right.
pay that subscription fees and all those things. So okay. So
And also
entire thing.
one
Hmm,
more thing, one more thing
hmm,
for your when you create your account, like just say an AWS account, we are going to create an EKS server. Definitely, your account is going to get suspended in 2 3 months because
hmm.
they are going to charge you for the EKS cluster, right? It is
Exactly. Yeah.
1.0 per hour, and then you are going to
Hmm,
have the workloads. Minimum free workloads are not going to create your pods. So I'm
hmm,
sure this account is going to get suspended. Be ready for that. Don't put your credit cards there. Put your
hmm.
credit card to create the account. Once it is created, remove that and add your debit card if it is needed. And if you're putting your credit card from your application, just disable auto payment and everything, right?
Acha,
Because
okay.
creating an EKS cluster is going to cost you for
Oh,
sure,
is
and I'm
it?
not sure about that. Yes,
Oh,
it
because I was supposed to use AKS cluster with for the demo purpose
no,
for
I
my
don't know.
for.
AKS. I'm not sure about AKS, but for AWS, definitely they are going to cost you. And for AKS, as much as I know, yes, they will cost you. Even if you're using for 1 2 hour, you're going to get some cost.
Hmm. Yeah, I used the AWS like for spinning some the VMs, and now I got some billing there. I thought first they told 1 year it will be free of cost or something, some hours will be there, but
Nothing is free. Nothing.
immediately I got some billing, and they said if you don't pay in certain time, then your account will be suspended. AWS.
Yes,
So
definitely.
same
That's
goes with Azure also, right?
exactly. So be ready
But you're
to
say
be
okay,
ready to
but
have
you're
that.
saying creating a cluster, maybe EKS cluster or this it is more costlier than spinning a VM, like the cost and all in
VM is
Azure.
VM is low. Yeah, VM Azure is cheaper as compared to AWS.
Oh, I thought the other way because people are nowadays moving to AWS and cloud. Because I'd given one interview there, they had asked whether you know a Google Cloud. I said no, I have worked on AWS and Azure, not Google Cloud. So is it because I thought that they are offering some cheaper subscription compared to Azure? Because Azure is always the costlier. Even our clients also they say that Azure is very costly. So I don't know.
Depends
This is
upon the
something.
client requirement. Yeah, it depends on the client requirement firstly. So yeah,
No, that is the reason we disable advanced security. If you see in Azure DevOps, there is one advanced security which scans your vulnerabilities for a repos, Azure repos. But we have disabled that because the cost is coming very high.
so bus,
So
it's simple that how you use it, but when you compare to a simple EC2 instance spinning up in AWS and then in Azure, then it is cheaper in Azure. It is costlier in
that's
AWS, right?
okay. No, but what about creating a cluster? Maybe it is in AWS or in Azure. Is it costly affair or compared to spinning a VM or like or cluster is more expensive? Like I never I created a cluster. That's why I'm asking.
Eh,
Means from your experience.
I don't know the costing of EKS, but in
Uh,
AWS, for only having an EKS, it is going to cost you $0.1 per hour
okay.
per
Uh-huh.
hour, and then you have different volumes, and then EC2 instances that cost comes differently. So that's why
Yeah.
I already told you guys create accounts and then
Hmm.
have everything running. Practice your EKS, have it for 2 3 months. Don't pay bills because it is going to be $1,000, $1,500, $800. Just let them suspend the account. Learn your things. So be ready to basically get your account suspended. That's what I was informing you.
Okay. Yeah. The whole idea was saying that. Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Because actually, I don't want to do anything on the live or client environment. Anything gets screwed up, then the entire thing will come up. So
That's why I said create your personal account.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
All right, guys. I think we are done for today, and I don't know like how things go ahead from here. I think the institute will be having some feedbacks from you guys. Do the honest one. If you see it bad, give it bad. If you see good, give it good. So yeah, that's how things can be improved if needed. And also, if you have any questions, you can ping me here. If you have any questions, you can ping to the institute. They'll forward it to me, or maybe they'll prepare some communication between us. So it will
Say,
be.
Sachin, just before we sign off, it is if we spin up an EKS in Amazon in Mumbai region, it'll be $73 a month.
But
Standard.
still, why are you paying the 73? Why are you thinking to pay that 73?
I mean, I'm just saying it for the record. If you do
Yes.
it for a whole month, if you have it running for the whole month, again, I guess again it
No,
is
that's not how we would do. Is what I do basically is when I was learning, I used to spin up the instance. It takes like 15-20 minutes to spin up, to create and do everything. So I'll do that first, and once that is done, once my work is done, I'll terminate everything.
yeah, got it.
Yeah, that's how the cost is reduced.
Hello.
Yes.
Got it, sir.
Uh, uh, Actually, I have just downloaded the WSL, but it is showing like
An error, right?
error. Like, install latest PowerShell. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
PowerShell.
Afzal, can you share your screen? I'm making you the presenter.
Okay, 1 minute.
Yes, we are able to see your screen. If you can show us the CLI.
See.
Yeah, all right. So press any key. Yeah, okay. So I'll tell you how to do that basically. Just go to your
Okay.
Linux. The best
Where
on your CLI.
in
Okay, you're
this?
using you're using Windows PowerShell and it is saying install the latest PowerShell. No, on the Ubuntu CLI I'm saying.
Ubuntu.
Hmm? Open it.
And then
Okay.
and
Yes, what you need to do is, see, I'll give you I'll not, what I'll do is, also like our work, my work of my way of showing you is how we resolve these issues, right? We everybody, what
okay.
we do is just copy this, the Windows subsystem of Linux has not been enabled, and copy it to Google. It will redirect you to the exact solution for it.
So actually, I am already working on Docker. I'm practicing Docker, so I'm using this. Okay, I have a Windows server. I have
But it has,
Ubuntu.
yeah, even you can
Uh,
use MOBA extemp, but I feel that
okay,
many times it gives certain limitations to me. That's why I don't
okay.
use it. But again, that is again a good
Oh,
tool.
nice.
But
It might be, yeah.
I think you're taking SSH to any system from your MOBA extemp.
Yeah, I have taken the SSS from this Docker machine. I have created Docker machine in my VMware workstation. I have installed Docker
Yeah. See, as I told
for
you,
Ubuntu.
VMware is also good, but again, I don't prefer. My preference is Ubuntu
Okay, okay,
WSL.
no issue, no issue. So
Your
my
way.
question is
If you want
actually
to use,
all the
it is
things which are
important, but you should have a CLI. That is important, right?
okay. Okay. So my question is that whatever we are doing over here, the same command will be we will run over WSL, no?
Yes, yes, yes.
Like
It,
uh,
it
creating Docker and then go to the Docker network and like Docker shell.
Firstly,
All these command are same.
I would like to make sure, I'll make you
Uh,
aware, guys, that again on Docker part we are not going to do much. The basics
okay,
of
okay.
Docker, basic commands of Docker, Docker file,
Hmm.
more importantly, right? Because if you're orchestrating your container using Kubernetes, you don't need much of the Docker.
Okay.
Yeah, and now
Achha,
Docker is.
one more thing. I'm just watching. I mean, I see that the OpenShift is more demandable than the Kubernetes. Is it true?
Depends. It depends. OpenShift is licensed tool, so the company which are open to pay something, then they use OpenShift. And but Kubernetes is free. It is just the EKS service. So
Okay.
it doesn't matter. Like, see, we cannot say that what is in more demand, right? Always
Hmm.
you will feel that it is in more demand, but for me it is, OpenShift is not in demand because I haven't seen much of the
Okay.
people working on OpenShift. But it is my view. It is not the silver lining, right? So again, it depends on you. But OpenShift, I would say, see, majority of the company, what they do is they look for open source tool, right?
So
So
Sachet, how different is
OpenShift,
Kubernetes and OpenShift?
right, it is not different. OpenShift is just the paid version of Kubernetes. Instead of kubectl, they are going to use OC command and everything is same.
So it's just like, Red Hat and CentOS. As
Yes,
simple as that.
Red Hat is the provider of OpenShift.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. I
One
know, I know,
one more
I know.
question. Okay.
Yeah,
Like, what is the benefits of doing like CKA exam, CKAD exam? Is this player vital role in getting a job?
to you, up to you, up to you. See, if you have certification and if you're not able to explain what you know in Kubernetes, still you're not going to get hired.
Okay.
Exactly. And if you're able to know what everything is, what you know things, you're able to
Hmm.
explain. If you don't have
Hmm.
certification, you're hired. So it doesn't matter. For me, at least, I did my
Hmm.
CK because I had time. My client was not giving much of the work, so I did my CK certification, and my
Hmm.
company paid for it. So that was the only reason I did.
Oh,
Yeah. So up to you. It's up to you. Yeah. Do we have any more questions, or we can leave?
Good. You're good.
All right, guys. Then enjoy your weekend. Best wishes for you guys for the weekend. And again, from next session, what we'll do is we'll keep last 10 minutes for the open questions. Definitely for the first 50 minutes we have as many questions we have. But last 10 minutes, I'm not going to teach you anything. We'll just have open questions. Whatever you want to discuss, you can come up with us with the topics. Right?
Thank you.
Okay. Then see you for the day.
Bye.
See you.
okay.
Take care. Bye
Okay.
bye. Yep.
Okay, thanks,
Okay.
Prachit.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.